Hey, and welcome to the Atheist Roundtable. Tonight we got a bit of a special twist. Murdershed Steve and just Jeff.
Hey guys, how's it going? Jeff here and Steve to my right. We'll welcome you guys in today. We're going to do a little bit of a open forum show and have a couple people do some discussions. We have a special guest for you guys today. I'm not going to tell you who that is just yet. And we're going to be speaking a little bit about the freedom of speech in religion, maybe freedom of religion or freedom from religion, and also maybe bring up some other topics like agnostic theism and agnostic theism and all these other terminologies. But before we get started, we want to go to the merchandise because, merchandise. So on our website, which is TART.live, you can visit the store, the shop, and see all of the wonderful t-shirts that we have. Buy one, you can, wear it. If you don't like us, you can burn it, whatever, just, get one. You can also go into here and look at our schedule for upcoming events. And if you'd like to have a seat at the round table, go ahead and fill out a nice little booking appointment here. And get a appointment. We'll take care of you. We'll get you on the show, most likely. So there's that. Went over merch. Went over that. We're good. Steve, how are you doing?
That was a fantastic professional intro, Jeff. I really appreciated that.
One of my best.
Yeah. Best yet. Oh, the hot seat. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah. So talking about freedom of speech, talking about freedom of religion, freedom from religion, and how our country, at least America, I would imagine most of our viewers are in America. So how America has it set up or that. And I also kind of want to talk about, too, how in the 1950s, a lot of Christianity tried to take over or is still trying to take over ownership of our government to twist kind of that lens. You have anything you want to say about that?
Well, I suppose, if you want to talk in the vein of the infiltration by, religions of governments, we can go even beyond the United States. But the National Prayer Breakfast and that whole kind of group that runs that is very interesting to study, at least. Definitely an interesting group of people to kind of take a look at. I'm not sure if you've studied into that at all or not, but
somewhat. And I think what we should probably do, I do want to address a couple things too. For those of you that have been in the Discord the last few days, it has been extremely busy. So I want to take a moment to thank the admin staff and some of the other people. We have a lot of good people now working on getting that server more secure, more organized, making things a little bit more streamlined. So we have a group of 4 now that is working on just maintaining the server. We have 6 total admins that have been doing a great job regulating. And one of those admins I want to go ahead and bring onto the show is Spartan Theology.
Hello,
Ethan,
hello.
how's it going? Been a busy few days.
Yes, the Discord has been popping, to say the least, I guess.
So speaking about the rights that we have as Americans, where do you think that fits in as far as freedom of religion? Like, what do you think is the intended purpose for the way that's written?
Me? Or are we going to Steve? Yeah.
Either one.
Either way.
You can take it first.
All right. Well, I suppose for me, part of the whole reason why there was a breakaway from England, essentially, those English people like Pasta Mike. The reason why we wanted to try to get away from them was so that we had the ability to practice whatever religious freedoms we wanted, as well as, being free to express ourselves in any way that we want to, freedom of protest, freedom of press, freedom of expression, all that kind of stuff, because we came from a somewhat oppressive kind of theocracy in a way. You had the kings and queens of England and the Church of England that were really in control. And, we wanted freedom from that in general. So I think it's a staple of who we are as Americans, and very important to practice those freedoms: freedom of religion, freedom of expression, and even sometimes to the extent where it can be offensive to others.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I basically 100% agree. I'm all for freedom of speech, freedom of religion, from religion. I think the whole idea of Christianity and religion being tied together, that weirds me out. I don't really you look in biblical times and that was definitely not the case. So I don't know why Christians push it like they do.
I think in the going back to the 1950s, you had a generation of people that were coming under fire, and Christianity was getting a little bit of criticism. And the way they combated that was to kind of tie the two together, religion and the government, to add validity to the argument, to show that Christianity was the, religion of America, which was not intended. That's why we see it on our currency. The "In God We Trust" on the currency did not happen at the advent of the currency. It happened in 1956.
Yep.
So it was added to the currency. The anthem was changed. You started doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Things like that were added. And I find that to be very North Korean-esque, very, it's not something that I find is common in countries that have the best freedom of speech. When you're starting to hit this to kids at a young age and starting to justify it. It must be true because it's on my license plate. It must be true because look at all these people that believe in it. It must be true. It's on my currency. That's how you start adding that in there. And so, yeah, absolutely. Right. Separation of church and state would be tantamount for my freedoms.
That's really a huge issue that we really have, is a blurred line between religious and government, for sure. And when you start seeing statues and start seeing printings on money, things like that, it's a part of the government at that point.
The Ten Commandment statues,
right? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, in courthouses and whatnot.
Yep, exactly.
I just don't know why we don't have more Constitution. You should have a Constitution statue.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I just the country and government and religion are two completely separate entities. And I don't know why we can't have both coexist without the necessity to prove one religion is above all others.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here trying to think so hard about where I disagree. That's the issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
so
I would
we
say, I would personally, I don't think we can have freedom from religion. And churches are treated like any other nonprofit, 501c.
Right.
Because as it is today, they're not treated like 501cs. They're not treated as nonprofits. They don't have to give up their books. They don't have to show that stuff. They don't have to do any. That's why these I'm sure you'd agree with me, Ethan, that your Creflo Dollars and preachers that preach the prosperity gospel can get away with it because there is no legality to touch them.
Yeah, and then see, another thing, I literally was talking to my wife last weekend about how I think it's really weird that our church is above everything else as far as nonprofits. I don't know why. So it's shoot, I agree with you there. I was literally just talking.
Churches, I know that the vast majority of churches are not abusing their currency.
No, I'm not saying they're abusing it either. No,
I don't want it to come off with what I'm about to say as it being abusive.
Yeah, I just think it would be better
to attach themselves. Mm-hmm. Move money and clean it, and there's no record. It's the same thing you can do in real estate and other things. So we should be able to see that money flow, and the Billy Grahams and people that have their jetliners and $1 million homes and all that bullshit could be checked. Look at Scientology. Scientology is the best case right now for this. They get to run wild with their money. If you ever been in what's the city in Florida?
I don't know the name.
They have their city in Florida. I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments.
San Andreas.
No, it's not. It's one word, 3 syllables. They pretty much own that town. All of the buildings are built by Scientology. The government buildings were paid for and built by the Scientology. So they are so involved in that, and if they can get away with nonprofit, it opens up the door to anybody getting on to this I keep saying nonprofit, but completely unchecked nonprofit. If there were taxes, I mean, you can watch, there's plenty of studies about this. If churches paid taxes the same way that other 501c did, there would be no hunger and no homelessness in the United States, period. We have more than enough money on that 501c taxation to pay for that stuff, which also leads me to believe that churches as a whole, all religions, are not pulling their weight as a community service provider.
But they still get tax breaks.
But they still get tax
Or
breaks.
I'm sorry, not only tax break, but bailouts. Haven't they been getting bailouts?
You had 9,000, somebody can check me on this, 9,000 Catholic churches apply for those small business loans that were being handed out. Yeah. And a good amount of them actually got approved and saw money from that. So that's our tax dollars going to support a business from going out of business that doesn't pay into the system.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
It would be like bailing out Amazon.
No. We literally
bailing out Amazon.
Our church had a meeting the other day, and they said that they got that PPP loan, and I even said, I'm like, this seems pretty sketch. Like, I don't see why. Like, if it's not a business, then why are they getting a business loan? So, like, I agree with basically everything you're saying.
You would agree too. I would hope that, Christianity is not a religion that lives in a physical place. It's not a church that is the reason that you are Christian. It's because of the word of God. It's because of Jesus.
Well, I would argue with that. I would say it's because of the church.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not because of the church.
Well, I would say it is.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but the building itself,
not the building, but like the group of believers of Christ, I would say.
Correct.
Is the reason
that's what it is. It's about the community. And I think that if you look at something like the Catholic Church, that's where it goes to the extreme when you start turning it into a government, basically. And the Catholic Church, collects.
They own a country.
Yeah, they own their own country. It's insane the amount of money that they see and the amount of influence they have in the world to get their priests out of trouble, being legal problems, to completely steal money from an organization that was set up in Mother Teresa's honor, and they were supposed to provide clean medical supplies to hospitals, and they're reusing needles when they're giving money to homes for kids that don't have houses, that are orphans, and they're literally burying them in the backyard, and they're hiding bodies. Like, these are atrocities of that church that has completed, and they were never charged because they were able to extradite the people that did it to the Vatican. They were able to pay people off, or they just control the government. And so you never see them actually serve time for these atrocities.
This actually we're kind of going into an area where I was trying to bring something up, like the idea that beliefs or the fact that somebody holds beliefs just absolutely has to be respected.
Right. No matter what.
This is something that I've been running into lately, for sure.
And me, for sure.
And I've been having, for sure.
Hey, by the way,
but I've been having a lot of discussion.
Let's talk about, Ethan's YouTube channel, Spartan Theology. I want to get it to him while he's on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
You need to subscribe to this guy.
You need to subscribe. I'm at 123 or something. 123. I need more than that. So subscribe.
That's some really good content. I was skimming through it earlier today and watching a few things. So
I have plans and stuff. I'm just trying. I don't even really know what my channel is about, to be honest. Like, you guys are all like, you got all these guests and whatnot. I'm still trying to figure out what it's even about, but it will be good. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. Well, we'll feed you some people. But Steve, what were you saying before I cut you off rudely?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, boom, boom.
Yeah. He's got a better logo than we do.
Made it myself.
Well, yeah, go figure. Hey, Spartan, maybe we can hire you on to help us out with some graphics.
Jeff's good at Photoshop. He's like the only reason I know I do anything. I watched him for like 10 minutes.
Tonight.
Yeah.
We watch a theist make graphics for an atheist show.
What were you saying, Steve, that you wanted to get into?
Oh, yeah. So, I was just going to say, I've been kind of running into discussions a lot lately where people are saying, you just have to respect people's beliefs. You just have to respect beliefs. And at the end of the day, I respect people. I would much rather respect people than beliefs, because people are who I have to deal with. People are who I care about. At the end of the day, if you don't have the evidence to support or warrant belief in anything, then why shouldn't it come under scrutiny? We should be doing whatever we can to evaluate our beliefs and make sure that they're true. At least, I suppose that's in my subjective opinion, right?
It's not a path to knowledge. It's not.
It's not an honest pathway, or faith wouldn't be anyhow.
If I told you that it's my belief that a certain race of people are inferior to other sets of race,
I don't respect that belief.
You have to respect me because that's my belief. You tell me to fuck off. Yep. And I have no problem with what did Christopher Hitchens say? That, religions have toys, and I don't care if they play with their toys, if they bring people over to their house to play with their toys, they let their kids play with the toys, they make rules on how other people are to play with the toys. Don't tell me I have to play with your toys. Don't tell me how I can play with my own toys. Like that's where it crosses the line. And I just don't understand why religion thinks that they have some sort of higher authority, or that they have objects that are of higher authority than other people's objects. Because if you have an opinion and I have an opinion and my opinion's at odds with your opinion, then somehow you default to being correct and that you don't have to respect me because I don't respect you.
When it's really you disrespecting a belief, or not respecting or not acknowledging or agreeing to believe in a belief. And I'd be
lying, and I'm sure that as I speak to other religious people too, if their goal is to convert me, I need to be honest.
Right.
And if I'm honest with them and say, look, the information you gave me is not compelling, that's not me being difficult. I'm not trying to make them feel bad or just be negative to be negative. I'm being genuine. I need convincing information. And when I get it, I will be honest. If you have a good argument, I'll be honest. I've just yet to see it. And that's why I'm still seeking. And I still have open eyes and open ears.
I've seen some good arguments that I've had to research for sure. And if you see me on TikTok, if you watch my comments, if there is something that I haven't watched yet, I'll watch it.
I've learned a lot.
Channels, and then every time you get to the point where you just keep hearing the same arguments, and it's like I can get into 15 seconds or 15 minutes of it, and I'm like, okay,
I already know where this is going.
I've seen enough fallacies already. I think I can move on. But
what do you think?
Yeah, so you mentioned at the very beginning, I wanted to chime in. Yeah, we kind of moved past. I'm losing it as I'm talking.
Bring it back.
Yeah, I'm trying my best here. So you said about people pushing their beliefs. That's what you brought up, like religions pushing their beliefs on other people. And so basically, what I wanted to say, just to start off, so do you think only religions are guilty of doing this, pushing beliefs onto other people, or do you think there's other groups?
No, there's a lot of different groups
all the time.
I mean, you have people that believe a certain sports team is better than another sports team, and they're going to push that on you as well. But the thing is that when you look at the way I live and the way you live and the way Steve lives, religion has the most control over your day-to-day activity from a governmental law standpoint. You have other things like belief systems where there's super PACs and organizations and unions. I think those are all belief systems as well, and they should be ridiculed the same way that I'm ridiculed for my beliefs and you're ridiculed for your beliefs. It should be an open playing field. I shouldn't be able to say, hey, look, you can ask me about anything you want, but you cannot question the belief in X, whatever that may be. There should be nothing that is particularly off limits. And that's where it's
But I would say that some of the most off limit things are speaking out against homosexuality or abortion. I think if I speak out against homosexuality, I am ridiculed way worse.
Is that a belief?
That it's bad?
No. Is someone being homosexual a belief of theirs?
You can, if you believe that it's a sin, for example.
Sure.
I would say that's a belief.
Sure. So,
and I think you would be more ridiculed for that than I think that has more control over what people say. I think you would get canceled way faster than if you
But what are
Like-
you criticizing, though? You're criticizing a person, not a belief, because you're criticizing the homosexual. And
Well,
that is
yeah,
not-
and I don't even hold to this view, to be
I
honest.
know you
and
don't,
that's-
but-
yeah, I'm like
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
argue this without. So I
Question.
think we can go to other things, but like abortion.
Okay.
I think that's better because I definitely like hold to abortion as evil.
Yeah.
And I think saying that you could like a celebrity or something, if they come out and say abortion is evil, they will get canceled faster than whatever. I don't know an
Yeah.
analogy.
I disagree with some of that stuff, and I kind of disagree with how the media and Hollywood operates in that aspect, where people aren't given their ability to operate outside of whatever that TV show is or that environment is. I think you should be able to.
People just need to stop putting celebrities up on such a big pedestal.
Right, but
Yeah, I
there's
agree.
a two-way street to that.
They do
because-
a job. They entertain. What they do beyond that is their business, not yours.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I can't, or at least I'm at odds here, because I don't want to tell a private business what they have to do with their employees. And I also don't want to tell an employee that they can't say what they want because their employer has control over them. It's a lose-lose situation there. But, as far as coming out against or for abortion, someone should be able to have that belief, and that belief should be able to be ridiculed. You shouldn't be able to say, well, I guess you don't have to explain yourself, but I wouldn't attack someone that says, if you say you're pro-life and you have a certain stance on that, I wouldn't come at you and say, well, you just hate women and that's why, blah, blah, blah. That's attacking you. I would attack the argument that you have and say, why do you think that? And we would get into that. And that's a profitable conversation. It's not name calling. It's not, pointing fingers and starting, a war of physical, I'll make fun of your physical appearance and your mental status. Like that's where I think people go too far from criticizing a belief and switch over to criticizing the person.
Yeah, and for me, when it comes to criticizing beliefs, the ones that I like to focus on the most are the ones that I can see the effects of in the world around me, especially if those effects are damaging. And if something is harmful to somebody, a certain belief, whether it be something like Christianity or Islam or
Psychology.
Even like some pagan religions, you have some people go crazy on that stuff.
People.
Right. And even the flat earthers, it's like they're not doing a whole lot of harm to anybody.
Dude, I think
They're not
flat Earth
saying-
is one of the most dangerous beliefs there is.
I think they're just trolling.
I understand where you're coming
No.
from on that. But some of them are not trolling, Jeff.
It's just the
I just
biggest
think the majority of
conspiracy
them are
theory,
trolling.
and you're just a
But-
shill.
But at the end of the day, when I see people being harmed by a belief, it damn well better be true.
Can we get a flat earther on the show?
If you can't give me evidence that it's true, then it doesn't deserve any respect. That's the way that I feel about it.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. I bet I could do a devil's advocate flat Earth debate. I was into flat Earth for a little
Oh, really?
while. So.
It's like moon landing conspiracies.
Yeah, exactly. 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11. 9/11 is probably the one that
They all say if you ask, like, you listen to these videos, every flat earther, you're like, why do you believe in flat Earth? They're like, well, first 9/11.
yeah, it's like, what? Did you watch the Netflix series though?
Behind the curve, I love that.
Yeah, where they one of their users, because as the Earth rotates, every hour we move 15 degrees, and so these idiots went out and spent $20,000 on a gyroscope that can measure this accurately. They put it down, they do their thing. Guess what it comes up with? 15 degrees. 15 degrees. And they go, well, that can't be true. It's tracking the sky and something else is wrong. So even when presented with the evidence, they still, claim the opposite. And I just, honestly, I see a lot of parallels between that and extremely indoctrinated extremist religions. No matter what the data shows,
well,
they're always going to take the opposite.
For what it's worth, the flat Earth movement does have a Christian foundation.
Some of it.
As far as the society goes,
Are they using the Bible?
The main guy, at least, that kind of started the whole thing, according to that documentary, was definitely quoting the Bible a lot. It had a lot to do with biblical. The Bible's right. and the earth is flat according to the Bible, so it's flat. And here's how we're gonna kind of post hoc make it work.
Yeah. Well, let's move on away from the flat Earth.
Yeah.
Sorry.
To a flat plane.
All I'm saying is that you can't put that "Go Gamecocks" thing on the screen with me on here.
Okay. That's okay. So let's look at the graphic I have up because we were going to talk about this. So we have the question is what we're talking about is atheism, agnostic, Gnostic, agnostic, atheist, theist, and the difference. This is the graphic that explains it best, in my opinion. It's atheist or theist, depending on whether or not you believe in a God or don't believe in a God. So you either have a red shirt or a blue shirt. Then you're either agnostic or Gnostic, depending on if you claim to know or claim not to know. So you would be a Gnostic theist or agnostic atheist or Gnostic atheist, depending on your viewpoint there. So what do you guys think about that definition? Do you think that that's an accurate way to describe what I'm trying to say here?
I think it's accurate for what you're trying to say, but I just think there's issues with the whole, like, the concept. So one thing I'll just start out, like, do you think you can know anything 100%?
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
But
So that whole, so
but I'm not going to claim that. Some people would claim that they can.
No. You don't think that you can know something 100%, right?
Personally, yes.
I'm not convinced.
So you personally don't think there's any people in those top two squares?
No, I absolutely think that you could be here because you claim to know. It doesn't mean you do know. It just means you claim to know.
If you believe that you can know an absolute
But that's
truth.
the same thing as having a red shirt or a blue shirt. Claim to know.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between the top and the bottom?
So this would be, I believe in a God. Belief would be the shirt. I believe in God, and I believe I know, and I claim to know that this is true.
And
so
not only
it's
that,
separate
but
claims.
I know
Two separate
what
things, exactly. Yes.
So there should be like 16, or there should be like more squares, basically.
Well, there's only two questions involved.
You're right.
There's only two questions.
That's the issue. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Like, it doesn't actually make sense. Like, I understand what you're saying. It communicates your point, but it falls apart because, honestly, by that model, there should be such thing as an atheist theist.
No. We have two different questions being answered here.
Yeah, so you answer the first one.
Do you believe in God, and do you know? That's it. One deals with knowledge, one deals with belief. Two separate events.
Yeah, what about a person that believes in a God but knows he doesn't exist?
Then they don't believe in a God.
So there's only one question.
No, the first question is, do you believe in a God? Yes or no?
No. And they say yes.
Okay, and do you claim to know?
No, but you know that he doesn't exist.
Right,
that would be, and you're a Gnostic theist.
That he doesn't exist. You just believe in him.
No, he doesn't exist, then you're a Gnostic atheist.
But you believe in him. You just believe in God because I think it's like some transcendental thing. But you believe that he doesn't exist.
You can't. You're just saying you're saying he does exist or doesn't exist.
So there's only one question. See, I think it just breaks down. I think the little chart breaks down.
One question on belief and one question on knowledge.
See, John Anthony is like trying. I bet because I heard him yesterday. And I was like, he couldn't get it across either.
It's two separate questions.
Yeah, so there should be 8 answers.
So there's there's one question. Do you believe in a God or not?
Yeah.
Then
you do. So okay. Now.
And about you. Yeah.
So do you know for sure what God that is, who it is, everything that they've done?
No, I don't think anybody does.
Okay.
Then you're an agnostic theist.
I would say that there's nobody in those top ones, but go ahead.
Do you believe what God do you believe in?
Yahweh, Christian God.
The Christian God. Okay, so you know what God it is, and according to the belief, you have a book that kind of lays out all the things that he's done. Right?
Yeah.
So you do believe that you know for sure which God it is and what they've done, making you
I believe I could definitely be wrong.
Could be wrong.
But right now, do you believe you're right?
But because you believe in that specific God, you are a Gnostic theist.
I would say I'm definitely agnostic theist according to this chart.
Maybe. Like you kind of subscribe to that God, but you don't necessarily say for sure that's the God.
I just don't think anybody can know anything for sure. Like, I agree with you guys.
It's not whether or not you're missing it. It's not whether or not they know it. It's whether or not they claim to know it.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, see, and that's why I find it hard, because it's just two separate claims. Who cares about two random separate claims?
It doesn't. It's just.
But I think this chart portrays it like it's like a gradient. Like, you can know more or less.
So, wait, hold on. I'm over here touching my TV.
But like the circle one, she even showed it more like it's a gradient.
Oh, hold on. Let me find that one.
That's the only thing I take issue with. I swear, like, it treats it like Gnostic is like, for sure. But then when you break it down, it's really just two separate questions. So you're either an atheist or a theist. Like,
correct.
This one?
Yeah, see what I'm saying? I feel like this one. Whatever. Yeah.
So this is just those
the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing, just represented differently.
Represented, with all the four answers and how they blend.
It's, do you believe in a God? Yes or no? And that answers the question of whether you're theist or atheist. And then do you claim to know? And that would answer whether or not you're Gnostic or agnostic. That's it. Oh, that is way too confusing. Get that off the screen.
Yeah, I'm to be quite honest, I'm basically over it. I might be wrong, I might be right. I'm curious if John Anthony thinks I'm right, because I just can't communicate.
He was talking about. In reality, well, I think it's somewhat semantics, because
I think like John Anthony agrees with me, like Urias, like he basically agrees with me. There's a few, and not like I'm the argument from authority. I'm right, you guys are wrong. No, I know there's other people and they've communicated it better, but I just can't.
Yeah.
So
I see. The thing is, what I don't want people to get, and this is more of an atheist problem than it is a theist problem, because you'll hear people that say things like this: I'm not an atheist, I'm a humanist. I'm not an atheist, I'm agnostic. I'm not an atheist, I just don't have a God. They're afraid of the claim because the term atheist has been made into a bad word.
It's been stigmatized pretty hard.
It's stigmatized. If you, and it's really simple. It's just, do you believe in a God or do you not? That's it. You don't have to subscribe to the Big Bang, evolution, or the Pastafarian method. Like, none of that stuff is a requirement. It's just whether or not you are or not in belief of a God. Simple.
So I had a question. How far is too far for Ethan when it comes to possibly being disrespectful to a belief? What do you think is too far?
Yeah, I struggle. I don't think it's pretty far. Like, I think I'm all for freedom of speech.
Well, I would say when you interfere with someone else's ability to practice their religion. So
yeah, but that's not speech at that point. You're like hampering the person.
Correct. So I should be able to do whatever I want in the privacy of my own home,
or in public,
on a public space. Yes,
like micturating.
It does not cause harm to the member of a certain belief. So if I were to go around with a sign that says, all Scientologists are rapists and they should all be murdered, I think that would be too far. Even though I had the freedom of speech, I think it's a ludicrous claim to say that all of them are anything and to call for their death. That would be, to me, inciting violence against a group of people. Now, if I wanted to stand out with a thing that said Scientology is false, I should be able to do that. That's questioning the belief, not the person.
Well, now, you said as long as you're not hindering their ability to hold their beliefs, right?
Like, stop them from, like, I wouldn't want to say you can't have a church because, we don't want your type in the city.
Okay. Because I was going to say, somebody could even say street epistemology or something like that. Somebody who is a theist could say, yep, they're showing them they're muddling up their brain with all this nonsense, blah, blah, and they could come at you that way.
If they want to go door to door, if you want to mail books to people.
Well, yeah, it's got to be a give and take,
that's
right?
Fine. Like, I don't see how that doesn't inhibit your ability to hold your meetings, to practice what you want to practice, to have your doctrines. Just don't tell me I have to do something with your doctrines. Don't tell me I have to practice your religion. So you could take it as something as simple as
or at least expect me to respond in a way that you might not like.
Right.
If
And
you
don't
approach
make
me that way.
and you better not make laws based on your religion. So like up until like 2 years ago, you couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays in Georgia.
Or Minnesota.
Yeah, because of religion. So it's okay if you don't want to drink on a Sunday, that's fine. Don't drink on a Sunday. But don't tell me I can't drink on a Sunday because it's part of your belief system. That's where it crosses a line.
I'm getting my groove on Sundays.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like so. I mean, I agree with you. I just think, like I said, this kind of goes back to the beginning where I said I don't think it's only religions that are doing this. That you're saying,
yeah.
No, I'm just talking about belief system.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say there's a lot of secular beliefs that are pushed on you way stronger than any like religion is pushing beliefs.
Like what?
Like if you, like I said, like if you're against gay rights or if you're against gay marriage.
Yeah,
like
but that's a person that you're attacking at that point.
Not necessarily just the idea. If you just think that like,
but this isn't a belief system. People don't wake up and believe they're homosexual.
It would be.
Well, I'm not saying they are. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it'd be like if someone said
black people.
Yeah,
well,
that's what I'm saying.
They're not born,
because there is a line that you draw, with like race.
You could go back to the abortion thing and say, hey, that's a belief system. And I don't think that it's being pushed on people, but it should be equally represented. And people want to choose that path, you get ridiculed on either side of that argument with what you choose. So I think no matter what, if you're pro-choice or pro-life, you're going to have a lot of people angry with you for your belief in that, and they attack the person there.
Hey, what's up, guys? Well, the thing is, we got another guest tonight, and I just wanted to kind of segue in with another guy. Hey, are we allowed to add other atheists to the chat? Is that a cool thing to do? No, heck no. Apparently, this just in, Steve and Jeff are a hit. That Ethan guy, we're not so sure on that Ethan guy. Is he a Clemson guy? Or?
I think I know. I saw a bunch of smack being talked.
I think the ladies are showing love in here.
Yeah, big shout out to Tony McNeely, by the way. Tony in the house, T-Mac. Hey, but anyway, a special guest coming in the chat. He's 21, but he's got the mind of a 71-year-old. Let's welcome Connor Prosser, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a clap track.
Oh, he's got his glasses. Fantastic.
Ooh. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Thanks for having me on.
I don't think I've had a straight up chat with you yet, Connor.
Yeah, we have.
What, live?
On video chat, not on live, but
on the Discord. Yeah, way back.
Yeah, on the Discord.
That's been a while. What are your viewpoints on this? What we've been talking about?
On the different forms of atheism, or
we're past that. We don't want to talk semantics anymore. I don't think anybody here actually likes semantics. We just had to do that because it was a question that we had to address.
Connor, what's on your mind?
So I think it only goes too far ridiculing a belief if it hurts someone else, like if it actually negatively affects someone else, and it has to be directly affecting them.
So let's say that there's a like religion like Scientology, and you have their religious book Dianetics, right? If you destroy one of their books, is that too far?
No, because it doesn't hurt anyone.
But if you were to organize,
let's define what we mean by too far. Do we mean like legally reprehensible, or just morally?
Opinion.
How about both?
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, legally, in America we're fine, but in other countries,
Yeah, obviously, I don't think legally you should be charged for any form of speech, unless it's some kind of thing where like you're leading someone to, like you're intentionally leading to harm.
Right.
But other than that, I don't think you should be legally charged with any kind of speech. Morally is a little different.
I just think it always goes back to attacking the person or the belief. Yeah. Because if I say, hey, I don't like what you have to say because that belief system flawed, that's one thing. But if I say, hey, you should go kill yourself because yada, 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 I'm attacking the person at that point, And you're right. Like there are countries, could you imagine being an atheist or a Christian in some of these countries that are overseas? I mean, could you imagine being a Muslim in some South American countries? Like that? Could you imagine being a Jew in countries in the Middle East? Like there are people that will kill you for your beliefs. For nothing other than just being honest about what you believe, which isn't really something that you control.
Yeah, so I think that's exactly where I would draw the line, is where it's something you can't control. You can control certain kinds of beliefs you have about things, to an extent. Mm-hmm. You can't really control what's convincing to you, but a belief is not the person, right? It's not something that's instilled inside them. It's not something inherently in them. So like attacking homosexuality, that isn't something they can change. That's not something they have any control over. That doesn't reflect their personality at all. They can't control that. A belief is different.
That we don't control. I'm not trying to cut you off. I just want to try and.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you just said you can't control your beliefs, right? You can't control what's convincing to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said you can't attack homosexuality because it's not something like you choose.
Right.
But then you can attack someone's religion, but that's not something they choose either.
Well, if you're attacking a person who's homosexual, then you're attacking the person.
Yeah, so I did kind of correct myself a little bit there.
Okay. I don't think that homosexuality is a belief system.
Yeah, so because homosexuality is something that's like inside of them. It's like
you don't choose to be homosexual.
Do you think you choose your religion?
Not always.
Yeah, not always.
I mean, if you look at religion.
Do you think anybody does?
Oh, absolutely. I think people think that they choose a religion, but I'm a determinist.
So you're a determinist. That's what
I'm a determinist, so I'd say no, but I don't necessarily force everybody else to that belief.
So being a bigoted Christian is the same as being gay.
Well, determinism. No, if you're gay, that being a big, I guess I see where you're going with that. Mm-hmm. But
I can't stand determinism. I think it's jacked up.
Yeah,
it's hard to refute though. I don't like it, but it's really hard.
True. To refute. It's true. I don't think you can refute that. You can't say that being a racist, bigoted, whatever is any different than being the greatest person or being gay or being stupid. It's all determined.
Factors in your life that led you to that.
It's all just brain chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to me, but okay.
A cult is too far, someone said. But what is the definition of a cult? Pasta, pull it up.
What's the first or time or what? It's some word that Mr. Atheist or the Telltale guy talks about.
I don't know that one. I'm gonna have to think about what you said, though. I got to think about this. So, if somebody's a bigoted Christian, did they choose that path? Or do they know it's wrong?
Well, and that's where we get into the difference between attacking the person for holding those beliefs.
Yeah, a system of religious. It's moving on me.
And attacking the belief itself. And because homosexuality is not a belief, that's kind of where we make the difference.
Steve, you want to read that for us?
No, I totally agree with you there. I just think do you believe in free will?
Me? No.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced of it. No.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. As so honestly, you're agree with Jeff though that
I feel like I haven't. No, I'm with you. You make a really good point. I feel you on that for sure because
I'm not trying to grill anybody and hold your feet to the fire of something you haven't thought about. But
no, that's a good one, and it is something I'm going to reflect on some more. But I think,
dude, I argue with more Christians than anybody about free will, and I'm convinced that without free will, none of this makes any difference. So
go back to the top on the cult definition. So. Devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. So every religion by that definition is a cult. And I mean, heck, every cosplay fan is a cult. Every sports team is a cult.
Juggalo.
Yeah. And even in the second version of the definition there, it's completely opinionated. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regulated by are regarded by others as strange or sinister.
That is super subjective.
Yeah, super subjective. But congratulations, we're all in cults.
Yeah. Well, there's a YouTuber that like talks a lot about cults, and I can't find
Hey,
it.
get
He
that
has
off the
like
screen.
an
Hey, get that off the screen
acronym.
here. I'm not in a cult. Get that off the screen.
A con.
Yeah. There was a letter
Continuing source
there.
of
Yeah.
information is what he was
Great.
typing. But anyway, I think we're going to move to some Q&A here shortly.
Well,
Actually, we got one last little thing.
You had
Hey,
somebody else?
yeah, we got a good friend of ours, regular guy that comes into the Discord. One of our buddies. I think actually, producer Steve up there, I think has a bromance going on with this guy.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually jealous about. To be fair,
You should be, because it's epic.
no, I'm seriously going to talk to you off air about this. Even though I know we can only have 6 people on, and I'm about to dip out, and the math does work out, I still feel like we should just cut Connor anyway. Just
Excuse me?
should we just cut him anyway? Our ratings dropped. But no, I want to bring in Sistano. He's a cool dude.
Oh, yeah.
And he can
I
help
was
out.
talking last night about this free
Big
will and determinism.
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I haven't ever talked to. I don't have any idea what he thinks about this. So
Oh, he's got a very good opinion on it. And
I'm sure
He was just telling me backstage he wants to crush Ethan in a debate straight off the bat.
he knows
He only
much
needs
more
2
philosophy than me. So
He
I'm
said he's
sure
like,
would, but-
I can't do his accent. He's like, I got 2 minutes to kill him. And I was like, okay, no problem, man. Anyway, Sistano's coming in. It was his birthday yesterday, guys. Wish him a happy. I
Ooh.
think he's 47. I think. Let's see. Bring him in.
12. God.
Happy
What's up,
birthday.
Hello.
Happy birthday, Edna.
I think he's muted. He doesn't know. Yeah.
he's old now. He doesn't know how computers work.
Almost as old as I am, right, Pasta?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Shut
Hey, thanks for the birthday wishes. Yeah, I'm 31 now, so I feel very old. But yeah, that was the conversation about free will was a pretty interesting one. I would say I'm a determinist as well, more or less. I don't know. I've been trying to find a good argument for free will for as long as I've been doing philosophy, and I haven't been able to find one that I found convincing.
So, but what do you think about what Spartan said?
Say that again?
What do you think about what Spartan said about a biased or what'd you say, Spartan?
No,
About
I just said like bigoted racist or
so
something.
if somebody's a bigoted Christian.
I got it. So
Did they is that something that's part of determinism? Like, did they end that goal because of events that are outside their control?
Could someone
Yeah,
be
I mean-
morally accountable?
Yeah, and how do you hold them
If
accountable?
they can't
Yeah,
control
so you're just as
your
accountable for being racist as you are for being gay.
You're right. Is what he's saying.
under
Right. I
determinism.
mean, I would say you don't necessarily choose what you find convincing.
Exactly.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean that they have to be stuck in the mode. Like, even the capacity to change beliefs can be determined. But it's not like just because someone's a homophobe or a racist, they can't change. It's just that change is also not necessarily.
Yeah, they're just as blameworthy or praiseworthy though for the change, and there
Because
is
then
none.
they can't control whether they change or not under
Yeah,
determinism.
exactly. There's no blame or praise with determinism. I don't see how you can get that.
No, and I agree. You sort of have to reframe the way in which one thinks about culpability. It's not really. the
Yeah,
same
and
thing
I
anymore.
guess, and for me as a Christian, like I've just decided that I don't think a world like that is coherent at all. Like I just choose. Maybe that's right, maybe but I think there has to be an argument because I don't want to live in a world where my beliefs are determined. So I don't see any point in it.
you may not want to live in that world, but wanting to live in a world and the world being what it is are very different things.
No, I'm just going to constantly argue that free will has to exist because if it doesn't, then I don't care either way. So I'm going to err on the side that it does exist until the end because I think if it doesn't exist, it doesn't matter. So,
but at the same token, the difference is attacking a belief or not respecting a belief because it's harmful to other people is different than not respecting somebody who's genetically made a certain way.
Yeah, so you have to live your life like free will exists, even though you don't believe it does.
Like, think about this. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If somebody believes that they're homosexual and they want to live that life, it has no effect on me personally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't change the way you felt either. Yeah, either way, if it was a choice.
Wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Someone is a racist and they are going around hurting other people
Or gaslighting.
or
But
gaslighting.
what if they're not? What if they just have horrible beliefs and they're not?
Belief that their race is superior, but they don't act on that belief.
But I'm still going to challenge those beliefs because they are.
We should. But if we're taking homosexuality and equating it with being a racist, because both of which are determined for the person, they didn't have any say in the matter. We wouldn't attack the belief system of a homosexual, but we would attack the belief system of a racist.
Yeah, I'm not even disagreeing with that. I just think it's weird to live in a world where we think that you have just as much choice in becoming a racist as you do. Like, it just doesn't seem to make any sense. Determinism, it bothers me to no end.
Well,
I understand being bothered, but that's I mean, it bothers me, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to believe something that I don't have evidence for.
No, and I think there is evidence for free will.
Which is what?
I mean, I just think the simple fact that every person lives their life and agrees that there is offers us evidence that it could. That's evidence right there.
But, I mean, at one point, everybody thought the Earth was flat and believed the Earth was
I know.
flat.
I think that could be evidence, but you just easily prove it wrong.
I mean, I think if most people really observe their own inner life, like inner experience, they would realize how much of an illusion this notion is.
Maybe. Yeah. For me, it's like the complete opposite, but maybe.
I think the main reason people reject it is because of how unlikable it is. And you really got to start understanding the universe does not care what we want.
What was that? What was that quote in The Matrix? Where he was like,
I actually haven't seen that movie.
I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my life.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the fact that, for example, I don't like the idea of no God existing.
Yeah, I guess my thing. Yeah, I guess my thing. I just want to point out. I'm not trying to say it's only because I don't like it, because that's this specific argument. But it's just the fact that if God exists, I think free will has to exist. Or if free will doesn't exist, then we're just all gonna end up I think it all comes down to my Christianity changes.
And especially if God has a justice system, then there would definitely have to be some kind of free will.
Yeah, and if there is justice without free will, then everybody's fine.
Yeah.
But you said that it's not possible to live as though we don't have free will. But I don't see that problem. I mean, I don't actively think about it when I'm living my life, but I don't feel like I'm necessarily the author of my thoughts or even actions. If I ask, I think it might be Harris or someone else that makes this example. But if I ask you to think of the name of a place, do it right now. Think of a name of a place, of a city. Have you thought of a name?
Yeah.
So what was that experience like? I mean, obviously, the thought, the name appeared into your consciousness. But would you say you chose it? Or did you just experience the name popping into your head and then decided that's the name I'm going to go for? It wasn't. It's a natural reaction. It's not.
It's a causal chain.
Yeah, there's no freedom.
So there's a reason that thought popped into your head, and then there's a reason for that reason. And
I just think there's a point. Yeah, I just think there's a point that it stops within you.
But I mean, even that.
But you would have to identify that point to refute determinism.
I don't think you have to identify. How do you really? I don't know how. And if you do, then I can't do that. Then that's fine.
Neither can I.
The other thing is that they've hooked people up and asked them to hit, I think, left button or right button, and they were able to tell before the individual was conscious of their choice, several seconds ahead of time, what button they were going to press.
The Libet experiments or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. So,
and I think those have been pretty much, they really have been debunked a lot. There's a lot of issues with those, and I don't know enough to really argue it, but I know that there are a lot of issues with those.
I mean, I have to look more into it. I haven't seen any convincing criticism of it that I've come across that's debunked it.
Because it's just like a matter of measuring milliseconds and like when did you actually think about it? You had to like say it on the clock. It's a little bit. It's really fast.
It gets even more difficult if you add a God into the equation. Because then the God knows everything that you're going to do. He knows whether I'm going to go to heaven or hell before I was born. So if I'm going to go to hell and I'm going to die as an atheist, then why did he allow me to be born? What was the point?
I don't really agree with that. Yeah.
The point was to teach you a lesson, you heathen.
But that's where Christianity necessitates free will.
Yeah,
exactly. That's why I believe in free will.
Right.
You come into existence. It's your fault.
I don't think God really did know, like,
born.
logically before you were born.
He didn't?
The opportunity to do what he knows you're going to do.
So God isn't omniscient then?
I think he is.
You said he didn't know something.
Logically, I don't think there is a fact for him to know.
Do you think he doesn't know all of the future?
He doesn't know the area of a square circle, right?
Well, let's talk about the future. Does like he know who's going to exist in the future and what will happen to them?
Okay. In time, like what I think there's a difference between like logically and temporally. Like I think logically he thought through and like your free choice, he didn't know it until you made it. Temporally, like he's outside of time, so he sees the future.
So is it he knows all the big events that are going to happen, but not
he knows. I mean, if you're talking about knowledge, he knows everything there is to know.
So then he would know that Connor's going to be an atheist and die an atheist and go to hell before he was even born.
I could die a Christian.
I think I would say that he doesn't necessarily know that. No.
I'm going to switch to all the religions on my deathbed.
But there's nothing to know. You can't know something before it exists. You can't. If it doesn't exist, how can you know it?
But you claim that he does.
In time. God is outside of time. So
right.
So he knows all things that don't exist yet but will exist if he's outside of time. Right?
He knows the future. Yes. He knows the future. But it doesn't necessitate you not having free will. Connor. Say what?
So he knows the future, but not the future of Connor.
No, he knows the future. We can go, but it's not determined. We'll just end it there.
Well, I think that's a good discussion.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to work out, that there's not a contradiction there. Because I don't think he knows like a free will choice before you make it. God doesn't know that because there's nothing to know.
So then how does he know anything? Because everything is based on free will choices.
Because the future doesn't exist right now in the present. So then there's nothing to know. So then he doesn't know the future either.
But you said that he exists outside of time, therefore he can see the future as well. So how can that both be the case? Either he can see it.
I mean, I can't explain it enough to where you're going to accept my explanation, basically. But
it's like
no, I would accept it.
Let's hear it.
It's called Boethius, is the philosopher.
Boethius?
Yeah.
Hey.
We're at that hour, guys, which we're so strict with time usually, just at the 59 mark. Normally Jeff is doing his dance, we're wrapping it up. But let's see if we can just tackle a couple of these. We got an abundance of questions. I think we're at 1,100 people viewing right now. We just hit the 1,100 people viewing, so I want to try and get these questions in. We actually have Kenneth Copeland. Kenneth Copeland's watching today. He's in the. He just did a super chat, guys. $6 million super chat. Yeah, just came in.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I can't.
Let's start a church.
But I can't understand because he types in tongue. I don't get it. Anyway, so let's see. All right.
He's going to personally deliver it to you on his jet.
I want to respond to this KCA Randy and say, I don't know all this about God. It's just things I think about.
So there you go. Theist jumping the gun. There's a question on the screen.
He went right at me.
Or maybe God told him it was going to pop up in the future.
Anyway,
So
let's go over to producer Steve with this one.
Oh,
Murdershed Steve. Oh, by the way, Murdershed Steve's in the house, guys. 17 bodies in that shed, guys. Bring it down.
We don't want to make it 18, Pasta.
Let's bring the mood down, guys.
Yeah.
Let's somber it down a little bit.
So does determinism include the assertion that given enough information, all physical events are predictable?
Ciao. Good question.
Yes.
Who's going to go for it? Who's in it?
Yes.
Jeff is saying yes.
My answer is by who?
Well, so what I would equate that question to ask is, I'm going to ask you a question right now. That question's going to be to think of a number between 1 and 10. And you just selected 6. And I'm going to be able to predict that based on watching your neural activity.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to know what number you're going to predict. Or I'm going to be able to predict and then be correct every time.
Okay.
That would be, but we would have to have more information about how your brain works and have the technology to be able to view this.
So your stance, Jeff, is that it's possible.
I say it's possible. Yes, I think that we could get
it now, but we could.
Correct. I think that at some point in the future we would have enough information about the human brain, or have the technology and equipment needed to be able to view this activity at the scale we need to be able to say that this is the thought happening. Have you seen Westworld, the TV series?
Like Wild Wild West,
the new one, the new HBO series.
Yeah, great.
They crack open a tablet. You know how they work with some of the robots, and they don't know that they're robots. And they discover that they're robots by opening up a tablet and seeing all the processes that are running, and they can see the decisions that they're going to make in real time on the tablet that's in front of them. That is, obviously a sensationalized version of what I'm talking about, but I think that technology at some point could exist. I don't see a reason why we couldn't predict it if determinism is true.
So you're saying there's a chance, is what
I'm saying. There's a chance.
Golly, I'm so happy about this. But I got something for Ethan over here.
Cease. What are you talking? Your eyes are moving. What are you thinking?
His eyes are like a little beady. Like he seems like a little beady weasel, isn't he? Hey, what about this guy over here? What about this guy right here, KCA Randy? How could Spartan know all this about little G God? So I'm assuming he's talking about some of the.
I don't know anything about that person.
Very passive aggressive with the little G God,
With the little apostrophe.
Screw you, dude.
That.
Screw you, little G God.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't say I know all these things. These are just things I think, and wanted to test out the argument.
Well, you don't have to change your screen name to Spartan Absolute Certainty.
Yeah, I guess I know all these things, and if you could prove one thing I said wrong, I'm just done.
Well, let's go on. Let's get Cease to know a little question. Let's see if we can find
every claim.
Let's just can we just have an hour session where we just pit Cease up and just throw questions at him?
For real.
That sounds like fun.
I want to get some hard ones too.
That sounds like fun. I've been enjoying it.
He's good.
Just let me know when.
He's good. I'm waiting for one day for him to crack, like the other, I jumped into Discord once and there were these guys like hammering him. They were trolling him and he's just like chill, just answering all these questions philosophically.
I can go all day. I was
like, hey, I was in the messages, hey, they're trolling you, right? He's like, oh, it's okay. I'm cool. I was like, all right, cool. That's all right. Let's see.
You found a question?
Cease just likes discussion.
I don't see any questions. I don't see any questions, guys. So if we want to wrap, there's a couple of things on Netflix I wanted to check out. So if you guys want to wrap, I heard the Gilmore Girls. Anyway.
Oh, they've made a comeback, my friend.
Hey, any final thoughts there, Jerry Springer?
So, Pasta, can I just address one question from earlier before we go on?
Go ahead, buddy.
So someone said that the difference between Gnostic and agnostic atheists is that Gnostic atheists know there's a God.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, Gnostic theists. Gnostic theists know there's a God, and agnostic theists hope there is a God. I would like to correct that because I'm an atheist, and I hope there's a God. I want there to be a God. So it's not about hope. It's all about belief. So agnostic just means that you acknowledge the possibility of being wrong. It just means that you don't claim absolute certainty.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with hope, because I'm an atheist, and I believe it's slightly more plausible that we live in a godless universe, but at the same time, I still want there to be a God. I don't like the idea of a godless universe. Of course, I don't like the idea of a genocidal God who condones eternal suffering. I don't like that God. But I don't like the idea that there isn't some divine destiny of the universe. That doesn't mean I believe it, though. I don't believe that's the case. So I just wanted to clear that up. Hope has nothing to do with the terms, the definitions of Gnostic and agnostic. It's just all about belief.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that one, Connor. It's definitely more about, being a theist says a God exists, and then the agnostic theist says, but I don't know which one or the parameters of that God.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm picking up you don't like the Old Testament at all, then.
It's a good read.
It's
a juicy one.
Yeah, it's a good read.
If you're into D&D and stuff like that, it's great.
Yeah.
But hey, I wanted to just thank Cicino for coming on. I wanted to thank Connor Prosser for coming on. I wanted to give a backhand compliment to Ethan for coming on. He's a cool guy. one of my favorite Spartans.
Next time we got to get more Christians in here, so it's not 4-on-1.
Yeah, we kind of beat up Ethan a little bit,
but is he?
I enjoyed it.
Is he a Christian?
Yeah,
kind of. He kind of is. Anyway, so guys, great show. Appreciate the chat and the discourse. And if anybody wants to come over to the Discord,
is this Tony McNeely guy in the Discord? I gotta know that.
Oh no, he's the coolest guy. If you're on by the way, guys, if you're on TikTok and you follow anybody, whether you're atheist, agnostic, unicornist, I don't know, whatever the names of these people are, go check out Mac Peen. This guy doesn't have enough followers. He's a cool dude. He does these little nuggets from the KJV. I'm a militant atheist, right? I don't know, I'm not, but I follow this guy, and he's so cool. Go check him out. South Carolina boy. You and him probably hit it off. I think you and him would probably go dance a jig somewhere, Ethan, to be fair.
Yeah, who are we talking about? I don't know his first name at all.
His name's Mac Peen. He's a really cool dude. He's a nice guy. Go check him out on TikTok, man. Yeah, he's a proper good old boy. One of them good old boys, man.
Make sure you bring your blowing jug to the hoedown.
Yeah, no, he's a cool dude. But segueing into the outro, Jeff, do you have anything to say about Steve behind his back? I'll mute his mic.
I got it.
You guys have a good one.
No, I'm good.
Oh, got it. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, guys. And Jeff, screw you. Hey, thanks for coming out to the Atheist Roundtable. That was Connor Prosser, by the way, guys. So if you were wondering who that oddly shaped individual was on the screen, the camera was a little bit strange. That was Connor Prosser. You go check him out at TikTok. Very underrated atheist. Makes great content. Big shout out to Ethan. That's Spartan Theology on YouTube. Again, Murdershed Steve. It's not been proven. There's no demonstrated evidence, but we do think he's likely a serial killer. And again, Jeff and Cease to Know. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'm Pasta Mike. You guys take care.